Thank you so much for coming today. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah, no, it won't take too long. So basically this is my senior psychology project. So I'm doing my project on the effect of sound on perception. So basically what I'm going to be doing in this experiment is I'm going to be doing some sounds around your ears. And I want you to just sit back and experience the sounds. Just try and focus. Don't think too hard about it, but just feel what you feel. And then afterwards, I'm going to ask you some questions about how those sounds, how you experience those sounds. So it shouldn't take too long. I just want to thank you again for coming in. But before we start, can I ask you some questions just so that I can have it for the research? Of course, this will be kept entirely confidential. It's just for purposes of analysis, but we would never refer to the subjects by name, because that's unethical. Yeah. Is that good with you? Okay, great. What's your name? Could you spell that? It's a nice name. How old are you? Okay. And what's your date of birth? And the year? That's my cousin's birthday. How do you identify your gender? Okay. Like I thought. What year are you? Okay. Where are you from? Can you be a little more specific? Okay, that's great. No, we actually just have one of the profs who I work with on this research is just really interested in that. So she's just always asking, where people are from and stuff. So I promised her that I would ask a question. Yeah. Sorry. What's your student ID number? What's your major? Would you describe yourself as a creative person or more of an analytical thinker? That just means more like if you interpret the world through sort of an artistic lens or there's a left brain, right brain, or if you're more of an interpretive person. For example, if you were presented with a problem, would you brainstorm and try and think of a new way to do it, or would you maybe look back in history and examine how other people had done it? Something like that. It's a good measure for that sort of thinking. Okay. Do you have any brain conditions? Okay. How's your vision? Do you wear glasses? Have you ever had a hearing aid? Okay. That's good, thank you. Any history of glaucoma or anything? Are you sensitive to any sounds in particular? Are there any sounds you have that might make you feel agitated or upset? Yeah, no, we just like to ask because no sense traumatizing somebody, even if it is for science. Great. What color is your hair? No, I'm just curious. It doesn't have anything to do with this. It's kind of ambiguous. Sorry, was that rude? Sorry. That's everything I needed to ask you. For questions. Yeah. Do you have any questions before we start? Yeah, it's just it's 4 or 5 sounds that we're just gonna be sort of fooling around with. I can't tell you exactly why, or the detailed nature of the questions, or why I'm asking you the questions that I'm asking until after the survey, because I don't want to affect the results by telling you too much. But after we do the tests, then I'll do some explanation, okay? Okay, great. Let's get started. Alright, so I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes, please. It's alright if you need to open them or anything. It's not a secret what I'm doing. I want you to just focus on the sounds. Yeah, okay. Just sit down. Are you comfortable? Okay, that's great. We're just going to get started, okay? I'm just going to come over here. That's good. Yep, just listen. I'm just going to come around over here. Okay, was that alright? Okay, great. We're going to keep going. Go over here. Yeah, you're doing great. Okay, I'm going to go back and forth here. Just keep your eyes closed and keep focusing. Now I'm going to ask you some questions about the sound that you just heard. And they're a little bit strange, but bear with me. Alright. Was that a pleasant or an unpleasant sound for you? Yeah, okay. Would you describe that sound as loud or soft? Would you describe that sound as hot or cold? However you interpret the question is fine. Would you describe that sound as more red or more blue? I know, kind of weird. Just bear with me. Yeah, whatever you think. Okay, yeah, that's great. Is that a happy sound or an unhappy sound? Is it a calming sound or a jittery sound? If you heard this sound unexpectedly, would it startle you? If you heard this sound unexpectedly, would it make you feel happy? If this sound were a food, would you eat it? Yeah, no, you just don't question it too much. You just kind of have to go with it. Okay, thanks. If this sound were a person, would you be friends with them? Okay. If the sound was a letter, what letter would it be? If the sound was an animal, would it be an herbivore or a carnivore? 1. Okay. Alright. Just gonna ask you to close your eyes again, and we're gonna get started with the second sound. Okay, great. Yeah, you're doing great. Doing great. I'm just gonna go over to the other side over here. Just make the same noises. Yeah, you're doing great. Sorry, I'm just gonna kind of reach behind you here. Great. Good job. I'm going to ask you the same questions, okay? Does this sound pleasant or unpleasant? Loud or soft? Hot or cold? Red or blue? Happy or unhappy? Calm or jittery? Would this sound startle you if you heard it unexpectedly? If this sound were a food, would you eat it? If this sound was a person, would they be nice? If the sound was a letter, what letter would it be? If this sound was an animal, would it be an herbivore or a carnivore? Okay. That's great. Okay. Keep going. Excuse me a minute. Sorry about that. Okay, so close your eyes and we'll get started again. Alright. You're doing great. nice smell, doesn't it? We're going to go back over here to the other ear. Okay, great. Let's go get the clipboard again. Okay. Same old, same old. Is this sound pleasant or unpleasant? Loud or soft? Hot or cold? Yeah, I kind of agree. Red or blue? Happy or unhappy? Calm or jittery? If you heard this sound unexpectedly, would it startle you? If this sound were a food, would you eat it? If this sound were a person, would it be a nice person? Okay. If this sound was a letter, what letter would it be? If this sound was an animal, would it be an omnivore? Or, excuse me, would it be an herbivore or a carnivore? Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Right. Close your eyes again. We're just going to do another sound. Just get a little bit over here, a little further away. Okay. Back over here. Cough drops. They smell like menthol, don't they? Yeah. Okay. All right. Back to the questions. Was this sound pleasant or unpleasant to you? Was this sound loud or soft? Hot or cold? Red or blue? Happy or unhappy? Calm or jittery? If you heard the sound unexpectedly, would it startle you? If this sound were a food, would you eat it? Okay. If this sound were a person, would they be nice? If this sound was a letter, what letter would it be? Okay. And if this sound were an animal, would it be an herbivore or a carnivore? Okay, that is great. questions that we had for you today. A little bit of explanation about the experiment now that we've completed it. The experiment is we're interested in the effects of a phenomenon called synesthesia, which is sort of a rare condition where the patient or the subject, if you're in a clinical setting that is, experiences one sensation in the form of another. So you might hear color, something like that, or a word might have like a particular emotion attached to it, something like that. It's a very interesting phenomenon, although not entirely my area of research. What I was sort of interested in is the sensations that people associate with common sounds. So we did a preliminary study where we asked people what color certain letters of the alphabet are, what they picture them as, and we had some very interesting results. People tended to favor darker colors for consonants and lighter colors for vowels, and so we are interested in sort of a similar phenomenon but with sound. So we would do these sounds in a continuous manner so that you would have some time to process them and just sort of feel how you feel about them. And then we would ask you some questions about how you felt conceptually about the sound, including some sort of strange abstract concepts, but